So I do a lot of PVMing, but there is still a hell of a lot that I need to improve on. But before I can improve and start working through some of these achievements that are probably pretty damn difficult for me to get, I kind of need to sort out a few things first. So in this video, I'm going to go through and kind of fix up my account and stop being overly lazy. And so not just make a list of you guys should do this, but make a thing of I'm going to do this, maybe you guys should as well. This will include some organizations and some cleaning up and some preparations for PVM that probably everybody should be looking into doing. So let's get this out of the way and let's go. So to make sure I don't do what I normally did and just stop doing what I wanted to do, I actually made a to-do list and then went live. We did all of this on stream, and if you want, I'll link the actual full VOD in the description. But on that list of things, the first one I wanted to tackle was going to be my PVM presets, or my bank presets, I suppose. All of them are for PVM, so I guess they're both. However, I have so many presets that are actually only maybe 1 to 2 items different. It's just a waste, and it means that I can't set up anything else that's like a little bit more efficient. And also a few of these do need updating when we get to a further part in this as well. So what I did first was go through and clear out any of the presets that I don't use regular, and also some of the ones that are pretty much the same as others with like maybe 1 item difference. For example, having the exact same mage preset, but having Cinderbane gloves on one and having the Carapac wrist wraps on another, and then having them set for things like Elite Dungeons or Carapac, and then having one that's for Raksha because Cinderbanes doesn't work there, but they're exactly the same. So the goal now is to basically have a magic preset that just works for all of the regular bosses that I do. But now that I have so many extra spaces, in the future, if there's a specific boss that I'm going to be working on for achievements, I can make myself a preset for that if I have to, and I'll know that that is exactly what I need while I work on those achievements. Once done, I can get rid of that preset and then just adjust for that in the future. All I'll need to do is load my base preset and then add like Cinderbanes if I need to, or a Vitality Potion if I need one, Acceleration Potion, whatever I might need. I did this for Necromancy and I did it for Magic. I kept my Banking preset, which gives me all of my Poison, Incense Sticks, all this sort of stuff, and extra runes to put in my pouches and all that sort of cool stuff. And then the only other presets that I actually hang on to is the ones that I know are going to have different gear presets and are already preset up. For example, my Zook one uses Crypt Bloom instead of like Elite Tectonic, but it also has like a dummy in there, and it has the right amount of prayer that I need to get through the fight, and the Toggle Zone, and also my Racial preset, which uses like the Undead Slayer stuff. So the Salve Amulet, it also has Guthix Restores rather than Brew Flask. So this, I know that I'll use these often, so I kept hold of these, and that way I don't have to remake it later on. But now I have 8 free presets, and I actually don't even feel like I lost anything at all. It just feels a hell of a lot better. Now the next thing to tackle was going to be the most stressful and time-consuming and difficult part of the entire thing, and that was going to be cleaning my bank. Yeah, this bank is an absolute disgrace, and it was pretty much just so unorganized that if I ever wanted to find something, I would have to search for it, which, don't get me wrong, sure, you could do that, but I feel like if you're going to be tackling a ton of bosses and you want to build presets here and there, you don't want to have to search for every single item. If you can see the items all nice and organized in your bank tabs, then you can build your preset nice and quick and not forget anything. Like, the last thing I want to do is get halfway through working on an achievement or something and be like, frick, man, I forgot this item and I really needed it. Now I'm gonna have to go back and do this again, which, you know what, might only be a few minutes of time, but it's gonna add up with how many achievements there are to complete. Not only that, I personally do believe that when you log in and you see your bank nice and tidy and organized, it actually gives a little bit more motivation for myself, at least, to keep playing the game. Like, things look nicer, it looks cleaner, and you can see where you're at. Like, in my current equipment preset, I don't even know what I have, but now that I've organized it, as you can see me doing on screen here, I've noticed that I actually have such little amount of stuff compared to what I thought I had. I need to make so much more money to get all of the gear that I'm going to need for this. I actually need to get more ranged gear. I need to get more melee gear for sure, if there's going to be any achievements that I need that for, and I just need to stock up on so many different things as well. It's so obvious now that I've organized it, and it makes a world of difference. It gives me that motivation to log in, kill the bosses, grind out the GP, and actually get it done. Now, I will confess one thing. My first tab is still an absolute disgrace, and this needs emptying and clearing out. But what I did do is I collapsed pretty much all of my actual tabs, all of them, and then just made separate ones. I now have a tab for magic gear, melee gear, range gear, and necromancy gear, and then I also have a tab for consumable items like potions and food and that sort of stuff. Along with that, I have a few other things like a tab for accessories that don't specifically go with like magic, melee, range, necro, that sort of stuff, and all my god books are in there as well. And then I have a tab for like skilling stuff and other stuff like that, right? This isn't completely finished, but I will be working on this and I will get this done probably tonight. Actually, I need to just go through the main tab now, which is where everything else is, because I collapsed everything into it, and just get rid of everything that I don't even, one, know what it is, or two, have no use having it at all. Not only is this going to give me a crap ton of space back, which is going to be great for going back and PVMing and getting all those drops, but it'll just feel a hell of a lot better. It's like having your room tidy. An example is like my office. I feel way more motivated to sit down and edit content and stream and all that sort of stuff when my office is nice and tidy and organized. But when it's an absolute dump, like my bank, for example, man, I don't even want to be in there. I just take a look at it. I'm like, oh, I've got to actually sit and edit a video, and I need to organize all this and that. Sometimes it gets out of hand. It just is what it is. When I'm making merch in here and I'm also like I'm working in here all day pretty much, it definitely does get a little bit unorganized. So having my bank organized, it's kind of like that to me. If you guys haven't considered it like this and you have messy banks as well, maybe just spend like an hour or two giving it a nice tidy and organized. Just collapse all your tabs and then put the stuff in the tabs that you need them. See if it makes you feel any better or motivated to actually get the whole thing done, and maybe even play the game more. Next thing was to stop being silly with how I use my prayers and set up quick prayers. I always just had everything on my action bars, but it kind of felt a bit weird because when I use different weapons, my action bars do flip around to different ones. But I was kind of stuck in the ways of having one of my action bars unable to swap because it had all my prayers on it, and it was just messy and it made some things awkward. So what I wanted to do for the longest time now is to actually have quick prayers set up and then just keybind the quick prayers onto the same slot for each combat style that I use. Now right now, all I really use and all I have gear for actually is magic and necromancy. So what I did is I set up all of the actual quick prayers for all combat styles, but I only keybound the magic and necromancy ones for now. Once I start getting like ranged gear or melee gear, if I ever do that, then I'll actually set up the stuff for those too, and we can deal with that at the time. What the benefits of this also are is that I will now always have the protect item curse on, because I never had that keybound, which means that if you use this and when you die and go to death's office, you protect another item, reducing your death cost even further. But also it means that whenever my prayer drops in fights, which it does every now and again, it's just one of the things that happen, you can just press one keybind and they all come back on. Whereas in the past, I would have to like make sure they were all on. Sometimes I'd misclick because I was trying to do it really quick and it wouldn't come back on. This is just a much better way to do it. This really didn't take too long. So if you haven't done this, maybe give it a go. All you have to do is literally make a quick prayer preset and then drag the icon to your like action bar. And then came another really fun thing that I have wanted to do for a while, and I'm actually kind of annoyed at myself for putting it off for so long. And that is making sure that I can now use my Seren Godbow special attack whenever I'm using whatever combat style I want to use. I used to take this with me whenever I would go PVMing. I would. I don't know why I stopped. I think I just got lazy and I couldn't be bothered bringing it and making presets and using it. And I don't know. It's insanely good. It is so much damage and I need to start bringing it with me again. The reason that I didn't do this sooner was because my keybinds are terrible right now. I really am tempted to just scrap all of my keybinds and start from scratch and go from there. And I might do this one night on a stream at some point. I don't know. I might just rewrite all of my keybinds from zero and it could be good. But putting this on was actually a little bit of a nightmare, and I had to go through things like action bar binding and all this sort of stuff, which can be quite overwhelming and confusing if you don't know what you're looking at. I didn't really know fully what I was looking at and I had to work it out, but I've done all this stuff in the past and actually sat down and done it, so it came back pretty quick. But to use the Seren Godbow spec, it wasn't as simple as just get the bow, use the spec. One, I now have to have arrows equipped everywhere I go, which means I don't have the buff that you'll get from having Zamorgul's Nexus equipped, which is fine. It is what it is at this point. Maybe when I'm more comfortable with the keybinds, I'll add the arrows to a keybind as well, so I can swap those in too whenever I need them. But for now, we'll just stick to this. But then I also had to free up to 3 other keybinds. This is because I have to equip the bow, the Essence of Finality, and I also have to use Ingenuity of the Humans. Now in the past when I used to do this, I actually used to press something like D, Shift 9, Shift O, then number 9 to use the spec, and then Alt 4. Like it was basically, it was stupid. I don't know why I used to do like that. I think I just couldn't be bothered making it tidy and changing my other keybinds around, but I've done it now, and all I have to do now to press my spec is Well, I say all I have to do now. A lot of you guys are gonna be like, what the frick? All I have to do is press Alt 5, Alt 8, Alt 11, and then press number 9. And then I just press Alt 4, Alt 7, and then I'm back to my actual like magic weapons or necromancy weapons, whatever it ends up being. That might sound like a lot, but because of the mouse that I have, I actually just hold the Alt key and then run my finger down the keybinds that are on the side of it. So it's like 5, 8, 11 all in a row, and then the same as 4, 7, 10 all in a row as well, and it's all done. Like it's actually just like a 2 movement thing. But now I can use my Seren Godbow in all the other places it's useful, like Zamorak is going to be insanely better with this now. It's going to make a world of difference for skipping phases and whatnot, so I can go push my enrage there and work on achievements and stuff there too. However, I did get told that actually using it on necromancy is a bit interesting, because when you do that you lose your conjures, so maybe I'll just time it for when conjures need respawning anyway, and then I'll use the spec and then I'll spawn the conjures, or if there's a better way to do it, then let me know in the comments. And then just to wrap this up, the last thing I did was to organize my rune pouches as per the PVME setup. So that's actually done now, and I can use every rune properly, and I don't have my stupid old setup. And the very last thing that I need to do to prepare is to just go out, make some money, and buy up a ton of supplies to stock up my actual consumable tab. I need to get loads of potions made up, some adrenaline renewals and all that sort of stuff. Spend like an hour or 2 doing that, maybe during double XP, and just have everything ready to go. So come the next stream, I should be stocked up and good to go, and well, we should be start working on some of those achievements soon. Anyway, this is something I wanted to get out of the way, and I thought I'd also make content out of it as well to make sure that I actually do it. And also, I'm sure there's plenty of people who can think, oh, you know what, I'll actually do this thing too. So hopefully this video is interesting or helped you out in any way. I don't expect it to do very well or anything like that, but I think it's just worth making all the same. But let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later, guys. Have a good one. Bye.